What's up, guys? Mr. Me here. If you're watching this video, it's because you need a little bit of a push with this math stuff. And I'm here to give you a little bit more rigor and a little bit of more challenge. So let's talk about a concept that you guys will be introduced to this week, week 33. Factoring polynomials when the leading coefficient is greater than 1. Okay, so remember, this is my polynomial expression. Leading coefficients are that A, that B, and that C, I guess. Well, that's a constant. C is a constant. That A and that B would be my leading coefficients. What happens when these guys are greater than 1? When A is greater than 1. So again, how do we solve this, guy? So here's my example. We have 6x squared plus 11x minus 10. Let's talk about some steps. So step 1, remember the polynomial expression standard form, right? In standard form. So these variables are going to explain the constants and coefficients and variables in this expression down here, okay? So A would be 6 because in front of x squared is A. In front of x squared down here is 6. B would be 11 because in front of x is 11. In front of x is B. In front of x is 11. And C would be negative 10 because behind all of that madness is negative 10. And this is how you explain or use the variables to correlate with the numbers and stuff that's going on down here. So let's talk about step 1, how to solve problems that look like this. Step 1. Again, you multiply A and C first. So A times C is 6 times negative 10. Well, 6 times negative 10 is negative 60. Okay. Then step 2, I need to find two factors from negative 60, right? That adds to my B. And remember, my B is just 11, not 11x, not bx. It's just B, not bx. Okay. So I need to, again, multiply A times C. 6 times negative 10, which is 60. And then I need to do my factor tree that you should have learned already and find two multiples that add to my B, which is 11. Well, negative 4 times 15 is negative 60. It's also negative 4 plus 15 it adds to positive 11. Second thing that I do is remove this 11x and replace it with these two terms. Just put an x behind both two terms. So remove my 11x. So 11x was originally right here. It was a positive 11x right here. Okay. What I did was removed it and put these two terms in right there. Okay. So negative 4x and 15x minus 10. Okay. Step 4 is to group them. So I take this first pair and I take this second pair and group them. And then I find the greatest common factor. Remember, we still need to understand how to find the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor, what can I pull out that's common between these terms? Well, the highest factor that I can pull out between the 6 and the 4 is 2. The highest x value that I can pull out between both of these guys is just x, 2x. Well, 2x times what is 6x squared? 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times what is negative 4x? Well, 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. And this is how you fill this parentheses part out. Let's look at this side. What's the greatest common factor between those two terms? Well, I know I need a 5. What about the x? Well, this doesn't have an x. This does. So x is not a common factor between these two terms. So it's just 5 that comes out here. Okay, open my parentheses, and I need 5 times what is 15x? Well, 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times what is negative 10? Well, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And now this is how this looks. Now this part right here, all I do is you're on the right path. If in this parentheses right here, they are the same thing. If these things are different as you're solving them, you did something wrong, okay? So take these guys, combine them and make them 1. What's on the outside, bring it in the inside. So 2x was on the outside, positive 5 was on the outside. Put it in parentheses, you solved it. Let's give an example and let's rock and roll, get y'all to y'all worksheet, all right? So we have 6x squared plus 17x plus 12. Again, step 1, multiply A times C. Well, A times C is 6 times 12, which gives me 72. When I do my factor tree, I have 1 and 72, 2 and 36, 3 and 24, 4 and 18, 6 and 12, and 8 and 9. So again, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at these two numbers now. What two numbers or what combinations between these factors add to my B or my 17 right here? Well, I think 8 and 9 adds to 17. So remember, I replace 17x with these two guys right here, and it becomes 6x squared plus 8x plus 9x plus 12. My step 4 would be to group them now. So I group them, and then I find my my greatest common factor between them. Between my numbers, my greatest common factor is 2. Between my variables, my highest variable that both of them share is x, and then I draw open my parentheses. 2x times what will give me a 6x squared? Well, 2x times a 3x. 2x times what will give me a 8x? Well, 2x times 4. Okay, and then I go over here and do the same thing. What's the greatest common factor? Well, I can pull out a 3. Can I pull out an x between both of these guys? Between 9x and 12? No, I cannot, because 12 does not have an x. Okay, 3 times what is 9x? Well, 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times what is 12? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. I had to do it right, because in these two parentheses right here, I have 3x plus 4 and 3x plus 4. So they're the same thing. They combine and become 1, which is 3x plus 4. And what's on the outside, which is 3 and 2x, what's on the outside, that stuff comes in the inside. So 2x and a positive 3. And here is my answer.